Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Fenton Forest Farm by Stevie. This is episode number 10. Thanks for coming back. And, well, I have just been a mowing machine off camera, and let me just crank our speed up here. I failed to do that in the previous episode, but let's get our Corona Big M washed up because that's what we need to do. We need to take care of our equipment. Now we'll shut this noisy thing off here. You might could even possibly call myself Lord of the Grass. Of course, that is in humor, of course, because I am not Lord of the Grass. There is only one Lord of the Grass, and that happens to be our good friend Duckzorly Gaming. But we have mowed a whole lot of grass off camera, and I'll just show you in just a few minutes. We're going to climb in this old dirty Mac here and go ahead and unhook her from the tipper trailer here, and we're going to go and sell some milk and probably do a little bit of cultivation for this episode and just kind of get us ready to go into the next game day, which will then allow us to do a little bit more planting and stuff like that. So we have about, I think we have about 10,000, 11,000 liters of milk that we can sell. Now that's not going to set any records or anything like that, but I figured we'll go ahead and sell it before it gets stale for sure. Let's just see if we can figure out how to fill this guy up. There we go. Gotta hit the trigger, Jerry. Gotta hit the trigger. Okay, we're gonna set our parking brake. We're gonna let that thing fill. I will just show you right over here what we've got going on now. We had pretty much cut this grass off of the grass field that is on the field number 8. That's our grass meadow. We've got 34% silage fermentation there. Not a whole lot of silage in that bunker. This one here, 7%, a whole lot of silage in this thing. This is about probably 400,000 liters of chaff that's currently getting made into silage, and we've basically cut the verge around all of the fields and all the big grass areas that we could basically do, and it's looking good. So I think that we're going to close our tank up there and get rid of the HUD, because we don't need that anymore, and head on over to the dairy, to Fenton Dairy, and sell this milk. Now, as I had indicated in the previous episode, I think it's been several days since I've recorded, and being a man of a certain age, not only do I have some of the problems that we've talked about in previous episodes that some of you younger guys have to look forward to, but I also have kind of short-term memory loss, and of course the wife certainly realizes that, and I think she's actually witnessed my short-term memory loss for the past probably 10 years. Of course, I call it selective memory, but anyway. So as I had indicated maybe in the previous episode, we're going to kind of abandon the BGA, or making silage at the BGA. We're going to abandon that because of the fact that I've got about 200,000 liters of silage there that is stuck in under the tarp, and I can't remove the tarp to get to the silage. So, but I had sort of compensated for that. We put we cheated some silage into our main silo at the main farm, and that way it sort of balanced out. And what we will do is we will move that silage both from our silage bunkers as we're producing it, as well as from our silos, and move that to various sell points, selling our silage to the community. And sometimes it'll go to the BGA, sometimes it'll go to other sell points. We'll just kind of see where we can get the best price and that sort of stuff from. So I think this is the dairy, although I'm not 100% sure. So let's just let's just do this here and bring up this. And actually I want to do this right quick. I want to save the game right quick, but let's see, where are we, Jerry? Fenton Dairy. Yep, that is the dairy. So we'll go ahead and pull in here, and this isn't, oops, just knocked out the fence there, Jerry. This isn't the best price This isn't the best price that we could get for milk, but I just sort of think that we should be selling milk to the dairy, and I think that will make the storyline go a little bit better here. So we're going to go ahead and set our parking brake and go ahead and unload our milk. Only about 10,000 something liters of milk, but we'll see what kind of price we get for it. Down to the last drop. And there we are, $10,113 for just over 11,000 liters of milk. So not bad, not bad. We'll take it. I mean, you know, it's beggars can't be choosers at this point. We're keeping our cash flow and everything, I think, in check as best as we possibly can. Of course, it's going to cost us some money as we continue to plant the fields, because we'll be doing that. We'll be buying seeds and fertilizer and everything for that, obviously, and then also paying Billy, Bob, and Jack, because we need to keep those guys employed so that they can spend their money in the community and everything. That's what it's all about, right? Right. All right. Well, we'll head on back to the main farm. You know, we've got this field number 10 over here that we're going to plant canola in. We're going to plant canola in that field and hopefully be able to come around and plant soybeans in that field in the summertime once the canola is harvested, obviously. So we are going to do that with two fields. We've got wheat over here in field number 1 to your right. It hasn't popped up yet, but once we harvest that, we'll put soybeans in that field, and then, like I said, up there on field 10, the new field, we'll put soybeans. Now, if we can continue to drive our numbers, our money up by producing and selling silage, and of course selling some of the other crops that we will harvest between now and, you know, whenever, we will consider purchasing another field. Now, I think if I just bring up the map here again, I like to kind of keep things in logical order. So if we look at what our land prices are, most likely we would be purchasing field number 7, because again, that will kind of keep things filled in. Field number 9 is a whopping 638,000. So I think we could possibly get to 455,000. We're at almost 200 now. I think we could possibly get there through the course of this season, this year, if we're looking at it like that, and get to that point and be able to buy that field when it has a crop on it, so that we can then harvest it. And let's just, because I wasn't paying attention, what is that? That is 7. That is soybeans. So if we could buy that before that particular farmer harvests it, or maybe he'll plant again if he harvests it before we have an opportunity to buy it, then who knows, maybe we can harvest that soybean crop and reap the benefits from that. So we're going to go ahead and put our milk tanker back where it goes, because well, that's just, you know, we want to return our toys back to where they belong. And yeah, so we've got quite a bit of silage there. What I will do is I'm going to kind of use well, it's not really cheating, I suppose, because, you know, there are conveyors and things like that exist in the real world. Just a little bit of lag there. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. But we will be taking that out of the silage bunkers with Stevie's conveyor, and then just transporting that and storing that short term into our own silo. And then we'll be selling it direct from our silo into whatever sell point is paying the best price, and whatever farmer or whatever needs that for their operation or whatever. And of course, we're going to be collecting the straw off the fields in bulk for our own purposes, but then also we'll be baling it and then selling the straw out in our facility here, again, sort of thinking that that's going to other farmers and such in the area. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. Actually, this is a sell point here for straw and other types of material, if you are not aware of that. And of course, this is also the year that we're going to plant sugar beets, and we've already put the sugar beets in the ground. Got Billy Bob to do that earlier today, just after we kind of finished up the the harvest on the wheat there. Let's go ahead and take this big John Deere, and we're gonna go and grab our cultivator. We need to get rid of that line because we don't want that right now. We'll probably use GPS to cultivate, just to make it simple. I have updated Courseplay and I have updated the GPS mod, but the GPS mod still does not have the ability to assign a key function to turn off those lines. So it is on their to-do list from what I saw a couple of weeks ago, and we'll kind of follow up on that and see how that works, and hopefully they'll add that functionality, because it not only is it handy for those of us that are content creators that would like to maybe have a little bit more realism for you all, our viewers, but I even think that you guys that may not be creating content and stuff kind of like to see things as they really are in the real world. So obviously we wouldn't be seeing a dotted line extended over the top of our tractor. Certainly helpful in getting things lined up, obviously, but then we would like to have the ability to turn that off. So as I said before, we cut grass from around the edges of all the fields and in the really big areas, and you'll probably see that in a little bit whenever we get up to the other field. You'll see that we really went to town on cutting the grass from those areas as well. Now this field here has been plowed. We will cultivate that next, but we're going to go on up to our other field up here and go ahead and cultivate that. It does not need plowing, so we have decided, we have elected to not plow it. We'll plow it when it needs to be plowed, and not just do it for the sake of doing it, but we will go ahead and cultivate this in. And if you'll just bear with me, we'll get all lined up and everything, and I'll be right back with you. All right, and we are off. We are cultivating field number 5, and hopefully I got the lines and everything set up close enough. Well, I think we're missing about 6 inches or so off that one edge, but we can clean that up later off camera. And just really love this map. I cannot say enough good things about Stevie's maps. I've often talked about this, and I probably talked about it in a recent episode, so I won't waste your time sort of repeating everything that I've already said. I think for those of you that watch my channel, and for those of you that watch Duckzorly Gaming, especially, you know that the two of us very, very much adore Stevie's maps. They're just so reliable. They're so full of functionality. Now, of course, at this particular point in time, things like the potato wash plants and the greenhouses and things like that, those aren't yet ready for FarmSim 19, but they are coming. They will be ready. As a matter of fact, I saw a Facebook post from Stevie not too long ago, within the last probably 24 to 48 hours. He was talking about the fact that he is working on greenhouses, so hopefully he will make those available to us. I think I mentioned in the previous episode that he is also working on that wood burning plant thingamajig. Can't remember what that is. Let me just get rid of my HUDs right quick. Alt 1, and I'll do that to get rid of that, and then set that, drop that down. Well, drop that down, and then that way I can get a screenshot here in just a moment as we are cultivating along. I actually like cultivating. Cultivating is another one of those kind of relaxing things to do. It's much like mowing in a sense, because I think that there's just some satisfaction, and I can remember this from FarmSim 15, just some satisfaction in watching the field transition from from a harvested state into a neat, clean, cultivated state. Of course, plowing gives you that same thing, but plowing is just, I don't know, I guess I just despise plowing in the sense, because when I first started with FarmSim 15, as I've said before, I was such a noob that I really didn't know about the mods, and so I was using more or less just the in-game equipment and working career mode and everything and working my way up. And so needless to say, I had to do a lot of plowing on Westbridge Hills with the smaller default in-game plow devices. And I think that it wasn't until sometime, several months down the road that I discovered the wonderful world of mods, and then of course got the opportunities to use some of the larger pieces of equipment. And as soon as I found that big John Deere plow, I just fell in love with that thing. And I know that it might be slightly unrealistic, I suppose. I think in real life that particular device is actually a cultivator and not a plow. But I digress because I'm not 100% sure. But I do use it when I can get my hands on it. So obviously it took a little while for that plow to make its way into 17, and it took a month or two before it showed up in 19. But I'm telling you, it's here, and I will use it with much pride and everything. But yeah, I think that there's just some satisfaction. Cutting grass is kind of the same way. Just watching it go from a unmanicured state to a neat, tidy, manicured state. And I kind of did the verge around the fields. I don't know if there's any value in the real world in doing that. I'm kind of thinking that maybe it might help keep critters and everything out of our fields and everything if it's a little bit tidy around the field edge. Who knows? Our birds, we've got our crows out here that are eating our seeds probably about as fast as we put them in the ground. So we got that. But this big area back here I was talking about earlier, I did go ahead and mow the entire thing because that's a pretty good size area. This space back here, we could actually even maybe consider making this into a field, or even extending this particular field and taking advantage of this. But for right now, there is so much opportunity for grass on this map that really and truthfully we could probably, if it weren't for the fact that it's just easy to use Courseplay to to set up the operations, whether we're mowing, tedding, raking, baling, picking up with the forage harvester or whatever. It's just so much easier to do that in a defined field. Now, of course, we could make a field. We could define that with Courseplay, define the edges and everything, and make that work for us. But I also enjoy doing it somewhat manually, and so I just spent some time off camera and just enjoyed mowing and picking up the grass and taking that and putting it over in the silage bunkers. Of course, had to get the big John Deere, the big 9R series tractor to be able to pull that the tipper and everything up over the pile of grass, because I kind of do it the lazy man's way instead of backing in and dumping it. It's a little easier, I think, to back in and dump when you've got the closed-ended silage bunkers. Of course, that creates a little bit more of a challenge in compacting and everything, because when I get ready to compact, I just set up Courseplay route and just drive a tractor around and around and around in a circle. While Courseplay has some features for compacting and everything, I don't know if those are even available yet. I haven't even looked, because quite honestly, just setting up a course and just letting the tractor drive around and around and around, and not making sure that you deactivate the stop at last waypoint. Tractor will just drive round and round and round and compact your silage. Of course, it's going to cost you some money, but hey, there is the return on investment, I think, in having Billy Bob or Jack do that, just run the tractor around and around and around while I'm cutting grass and bringing it over, is money well spent, because it speeds up the time that is required. And I also find that, or at least I think that, the compaction process goes a little bit better if you do it as you're putting the chaff or the grass into the bunker. If you basically bring in, say, 500,000 liters of grass or chaff and throw it in the bunker and then go and compact it, I think Of course, it could all be relative, but I don't know. I think that it seems to take longer to compact it, but if you're doing it as you're putting the chaff or the grass into the bunker, it seems to be better. But oh well. Oh well, right? Beautiful map. I know I say that every time, but it just really is. It's just such a beautiful map. What Stevie has been able to do with Felsbrunn. Of course, it is based on Felsbrunn, so the similarities and everything. If you spent any time on Felsbrunn, you obviously will recognize all that. Now, I believe that Stevie is working on, according to a Facebook post that he made, again within the last 24 to 48 hours, he did talk about the greenhouses. He's putting those in, and he did say, and I don't have the Facebook page here on my laptop right now, but he did say something about, don't worry guys, it's probably going to be 6 months before he releases it. Now, I will tell you that Stevie's, and this is not a critical jab at Stevie, but when Stevie says it will be 6 months before he releases an update, you might see it in as little as 6 days or just a couple of weeks. I think that Stevie enjoys modding, enjoys the enjoyment that he knows that so many people get out of his creations, that he just works so hard. And again, he says, don't worry, it will be 6 months before he releases an update, but I would be willing to bet that we'll see that update well before 6 months from now. I mean, 6 months from now, we're talking about that's what, September? So no, I think we would see it. I think we would see it much sooner than that. So what do we know? Do we have any idea? Of course, we're coming up on the release of the DLC from Giants. We still haven't seen the update for Farm Sim 19. And I'm just curious, because I had speculated a few episodes ago that if I were a betting man, I would say that we would get that update before the DLC comes out. Because assuming that since the update patch has been out for beta, I would assume that Giants, of course, this is where, if you break down the word assume, and I'm not going to spell that out for you because we've got all sorts of viewers, but you know the saying, right? But again, I would assume that Giants has tested the DLC with the patched game of Farm Sim 19 with that update. Now, I've not taken the update because I don't want to be a beta tester for Giants, but that's what my thought process is that they would have done that. Now, I could be completely wrong, and it's possible that we'll see the DLC release, and then sometime after that, a few days, few weeks, who knows, maybe a few months. Hopefully it's not a few months, but we might see the patch. But I'm kind of hoping that Giants puts the patch out before the DLC comes out. But then again, I say that, and I say that with all sincerity, but the last thing I want is for that patch to then start breaking maps. Now, according to Stevie, once the patch does come out, there's only a couple of things that he's going to have to change, and it should not require a map game reset. So I'm hoping that is the case, because certainly I love this map and I'm enjoying my time that I'm spending on it, but most likely at some point in time within the next several weeks, probably I'd say by this time in April, I will probably be looking to change maps, and because I start to get a little bit bored with the same thing and everything. But who knows? I mean, as we continue to work and earn money and be able to buy new fields, that is kind of changing the play just a little bit, and it's keeping it from becoming too monotonous and everything. So we'll see. Plus, I mean, I'm not going to just change for just any old map. I mean, it really just depends. Now, I think we had some news earlier in the week from Bullet Bill and Oxygen David, and essentially, Bullet Bill has given permission to Oxygen David to convert several of Bullet Bill's maps to Farm Sim 19, and Lone Oak Farm, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Lone Oak Farm is one of those maps. And I think the mindset that Bullet Bill is in, sort of, because he's not really interested in creating maps and doing things for Farm Sim 19 at this time, is that he would rather someone like Oxygen David, who is more than capable of converting Lone Oak Farm or some of the others that Bullet Bill put together, his masterpieces. Oxygen David is more than capable of doing that, and we would know, as you know, folks that enjoy Bullet Bill's maps, we would know that those are done right, and they're going to work, they're going to be supported, and all that kind of stuff. Plus, they will appear on reputable mod download sites. If Bullet Bill doesn't sort of take that action, in other words, if he did not allow or did not give Oxygen David permission, some Yahoo, any Yahoo, some idiot from wherever is going to try to halfway convert the map and bring it into Farm Sim 19 and possibly put it on a stupid website that has dozens of pop-ups and malware and all that kind of stuff, and of course, you know, we would all know that that's a sham, and we would all know that that's not the real deal, that's not the genuine thing, but so many other people would not. And so I think that Bullet Bill is right in his plan. So I don't know what the timeline is for that. I will tell you that I'm very much interested in playing Lone Oak Farm. I just ran out of time with 17, and I did not get a chance to play it. So Lone Oak Farm would definitely, and I know a lot of people are going to play that. A lot of people are going to put YouTube videos out about Lone Oak Farm on Farm Sim 19, but that would be definitely one map that I am highly interested in bringing to this channel, and it would, if the timing was right, it would basically, I think, come at a time to replace Fenton Forest Farm. It kind of just depends on what the timing and everything is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the timer on OBS says 29 minutes and 12 seconds. Some of that time is going to fall off because of some edits and everything that I will do. But I think this is a good time to go ahead and wrap things up. We've got this field cultivated. We'll come back and get ready to seed this field. Not sure if we'll do it in this game day or the next. We'll probably try to move the chains and get things going forward, because again, we've got lots of stuff that we want to do with this particular year, this game year that we are playing. So we'll probably just go ahead and get ready to start the next game day when we come back for episode number, what would that be, like 11, I think it is. I think that comes after 10, or it did when I was in school the last time. Anyway, thank you all again so much for watching. Thank you for your friendship and all that good stuff. I really, really, really appreciate it. And please go check out Duckzorly Gaming's YouTube channel and my other good friend Eustace Pharmer, his channel. You can find all three of us over on the Simulation Gaming Society Discord channel. We are the founders of the Simulation Gaming Society. Head over there. You'll find links down below in the show notes. And we'd love to have you over there. We'll welcome you. We love to help people with their farm sim questions and their farm sim adventures and everything, and sometimes even you have knowledge and information to help us as well. So again, from Fenton Forest Farm, I'm Grizzly Bear Sims, aka Jerry, and thank you for watching this episode, and come back for another episode very soon. Bye bye for now.